Hi there, it's Jenna from Eat to Love, and I wanted to talk to you a little bit about why I feel so strongly about this whole idea of making peace with food and your body, and why the world needs you to do that. It's not just about ourselves as individuals. I'm not sure if I've ever shared my own story about how I came to the practice of meditation, and even how I came to this particular form of practice within the field of nutrition. But I've been a dietitian for almost 20 years, and when I was studying to become a nutritionist, I was also at one of my most disordered points, eating and body image wise, interestingly, when I was in graduate school. I was also drinking too much, something that continued for another decade or so. And then when I was 33, I decided to stop drinking. Not because I hit bottom, as a lot of people talk about, but because I started to realize that this thing that I was doing to self-medicate and to distract myself was getting in the way of discovering who I was, of being that person, and of really fully engaging in my life. I started meditating a few years after that, and that has really just deepened that whole process of, it sounds so cliche, but just becoming who I really am. And you know, there's nothing perfect going on here, but I actually like that person now. I spend so much of my life trying to escape that or distract from it, and now I feel like I'm able to take the things that used to feel like the most difficult, unacceptable parts of me and offer them in a way that actually can be of benefit to other people. And it made me think about why this process of working with our relationship with food and our bodies should be thought of as something that's very urgent. There's this wonderful book by Pema Chodron called No Time to Lose, and this is a book that's written about the path of the Bodhisattva. And the Bodhisattva is someone who devotes their life to being of benefit to others. And some of us believe, and I happen to believe, that whether or not you take a vow to be someone like this, that is sort of why we're all here, is to be of benefit to one another, starting with ourselves. And I don't know if you've noticed, but there's some shit going down in the world right now. And the world needs you/us to be authentically who we are, to be comfortable with that, to take all of those messy, difficult parts of ourselves and work with them so that we can transform them and be of benefit to one another. Whether that means becoming more involved politically, whether that means just engaging with our personal one-to-one relationships differently, whether that means just discovering what it is that we like in life and doing that and allowing that to be our offering to the world. There is no end to our capacity, and there's no end to our ability to work with ourselves and one another. And I believe it's only when we full-on directly address the stuff that is taking up our mental real estate and not really giving us anything in return. For me, it was drinking and dieting and hating myself and not trusting my body. For many of us, it's using food and dieting and body hatred to delay our lives, to not engage with the people that we love, to not do the things that actually probably matter more to us than like refining our bodies or polishing the crystal. The world needs more people participating fully and directly in solving the problems that have been created by all of us to some degree, in large degree by some of the same people who are selling us diets. You know, I'm talking to women now. We need to call out the diet culture and the false programming that it has transmitted to us that's made us think that there's something wrong with us, and that the best use of our time and energy and money is to work on self-improvement. Okay, that is not the case. That is not going to give you a life to look back on with joy and a sense of pride and the knowledge that you loved with your full heart and that you took risks that were important to take and that you helped others, okay? It's just not the way it works, you know? I think we really need to connect with what we care about. And for many people in recent weeks, it's been hearing the cries of like terrorized children who've been separated from their families and feeling helpless and knowing that there's something very wrong going on and not quite knowing where to begin. Addressing the things that take up this mental real estate and give us nothing in return, clearing out some space so that you can focus on the things that actually matter in the world, will allow us to start to chip away at these things. And it doesn't mean that everybody has to do the same thing, but we need that space in order to discover what matters and in order to discover how we can contribute. And so that is why I feel that there is no time to lose when it comes to really working with our relationship with food and our bodies and learning how to connect with the wisdom that we are born with and to use our bodies as instruments of benefit as opposed to treating them like objects to be perfected for the viewing pleasure of others. This is the truth as I understand it. So I encourage you to consider this. I don't know what this will mean. This is just my Friday rant that I'm sharing with you a few days later. And take it for what it's worth. Okay? I'll see you next time. Thanks for listening.